Hello YouTube! We're on the Real Programming channel about HTML and CSS for beginners. My name is Andrei. This is our 89th lesson. I greet you, welcome on my channel. And we will talk about another look at Tony's table. And the first exercise, some serious CSS. Want to see another more advanced way to add color to every other row of a table. It's called the NTChild pseudo class. Remember, pseudo class are used as style elements based on their state, like the our pseudo class we used in head first long, which styles a link if the user is hovering their mouse over the link. For the NTChild pseudo class, that state is the numerical order of an element in relation to its sublink elements. Let's look at an example of what that means. Here we have 4 paragraphs nested and a section element. Each paragraph is a child of that section. This is the first child, this is the second child, the third child, and this is the fourth child. Let's say you want to select the even paragraphs, that is paragraph 2 and 4, so they have a red background color, and the odd paragraphs, so they have a green background color. You do that like this. Okay. Paragraph 2 and 4 will be red and paragraphs 1 and 3 will be green. As you might guess from the name NTChild, this pseudo class is even more flexible than it just selecting odd and even items nested in an element. You can also specify simple expressions that use the number n to give you a wide variety of options in selecting elements. For instance, you can also select the even and odd paragraphs like this. Select even numbered piece, select odd numbered piece. This, yes. If n is equal to 0, then 2n is equal to 0, no paragraph, and 2 and 1 is 1, which is the first paragraph. If n is equal to 1, then 2n is equal to 2. The second paragraph, and the 2n plus 1 is equal to 3, the third paragraph. A serious exercise next. Why don't you try your hand using the NTChild pseudo class? Complete the CSS rule below using the NTChild pseudo class to color the odd rows light orange. Write your pseudo class selector. And comment out your point selector class like this. Okay. Rows 1, 3, 5 and 7 all have a light orange background color, as you can see, but the rule for TH will override the rule for odd rows, so it will stay dark orange. If you want to try this for real, first comment out your point cell color class so it doesn't take effect anymore. Next, place the new tr pseudo class rule above the rule for setting the background color of the th row, so the th row stays dark orange. Make sure you're using a modern browser, Internet Explorer 9 Plus, and reload the page. Did it work? Go ahead and remove this new rule and uncomment the point cell color rule before moving on. Did we mention that Tony made an interesting discovery in True for Consequences, New Mexico? It's fair to say Tony found something interesting about True for Consequences in New Mexico. In fact, He found her so interesting that after going to Arizona, he turned around and come right back. We're glad for Tony, but here's really giving us a conundrum with the table. While we could just add a new row for truth or consequences, we'd really like to do it in a more elegant way. What are we talking about? Look on the next page minute to find out. Another look at Tony's table. And based on his return trip to New Mexico, Tony set a new entry for August 27th. Just below the original true or consequences entry, here is also reduced a couple of cells where the information didn't change. A great technique for reducing the amount of information in a table. You can see that when he added the new row, all he needed to do was list the things that were different the second time around: the date, the temperature, and that he revised the dinner. Here are both of Tony's visits to truth or consequences. This table data cells span 2 rows now. But where does this leave you with HTML? It seems like you would have to add an entirely new row and just duplicate the city at altitude and the population, right? Well, no, so fast. We have the technology using HTML tables. You can have cells span more than one row or more than one column. Let's see how this works. Now, to tell cells to span more than one row. What does it mean for a cell to span more than one row? Let's look at the entries for truth or consequences. And me in Tony's table, again, the data cells for city, altitude and population span 2 rows, not one, while the date, temp and dinner are right in a span and one row, which is a normal default behavior for data cells. The cells span 2 rows, while the data, temp and dinner rating cells take up just one. So how do you do that in HTML? It's easier than you might think. You see the row span attribute to specify how many rows a table data cell should take up, and remove the corresponding table data elements from the other rows that the cell spans over. Have a look, it's easier to see than describe. Okay, here the 2 table rows that have the New Mexico data. For the data cells that don't change, on the second visit city attribute, altitude and population, we add the row span attribute and indicating that the table data spans 2 rows. Then in the second row we specify just the columns we need: date, temp and the new rating. The city is not needed because of the row span, some with the altitude and the population. Who does what? Just to make sure you got this down, fill in each cell in the table with the data from the correct table cell. We've done one for you to get your started. Check your answer before moving on. Answer will be in the next lesson or at the end of this chapter. So this is our exercise, who does what. Okay. And test drive the table, and we'll talk about this in the next lesson. And this is our 89 lesson are over. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Please put likes, share with friends, comment. Eat bananas, eat fruit, read more book for the effective work of our brains, more drink water. You should remember it. So you should do exercise every evening, preferably in the evening after you have done all the work. And that's all. Thank you so much. Bye.